gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's performance of the Geekapalooza Comedy Tour at Georgia Tech, where a bunch of students, faculty, and staff are out to prove that nerds can be funny and not just funny looking. And now, your host for tonight's event, a gentleman whose last name means, what is it, hat seller? That's going to be a buzzkill at parties. The one, the only, Rahul Topiwala.
Thank you guys. So yeah, welcome to the Geekapalooza Comedy Tour. We're a bunch of Georgia Tech comedians who go around campus and around the city, trying to be funny, I guess. And I know a lot of people think comedians are like, comedy's like it's sort of a very distant thing. It's pretty hard to get into. That's not true. We're basically like you guys. We just have no social filter. That's like the only difference between you and me. Like, it's comedy's been a lot of fun, and it's gonna be, it's really helped me come out of my shell, and it's been pretty great. So, are you guys ready to have a good night?
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. I'll start with this one, I guess. I've been trying to go to the gym a lot more. I've been trying to sort of put on some weight, gain some muscle mass. And after 2 months, I don't mean to brag or anything, but I am now 3D, which is 2 more dimensions than I used to have. So I guess it's true what they say about working out, huh? No pain, no gain. 15 minutes on the lowest setting counts as pain for me. And as Pete said, my last name is Hat Seller, and my full name is Rahul Topiwala, and it's a pretty complicated one, so let me just break it down for you. My last name means hat seller because my great-grandfather used to sell hats, and he also has a shitty imagination. Like that's pretty much the only reason I have my name. And Rahul, my first name is the son of the Buddha in like Hindu mythology, and the literal first name meaning of Rahul is obstacle. I don't know if you know this, because the Buddha wanted to disconnect himself from the world, and because he had a kid, he couldn't do that anymore. Which is weird when I have to try and explain it to people. Like a lot of people will come up to me and be like, oh, Rahul, that's an interesting name. Where do you get it from? And I have to be like, okay, you know the Buddha, right? That revolutionary guy who started a religion, changed the world, and taught us to find inner peace? Yeah, I'm the shitty kid he never wanted. Which just, like, which confuses a lot of people here, because he's basically I'm named after a disappointment, and they all ask me, like, why are you named after a disappointment? Oh, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a fucking hat seller. But, yeah, it's been fun. I grew up in India, and I came here, and I remember before coming to America, I was really nervous, because, like, I was scared of, like, racism and, like, stuff like that, and so far that hasn't happened. Everyone is really nice most of the time, because Americans are generally very sweet, but they have, like, weird trigger words that I don't understand. Like, I could go to a party and tell someone, like, oh, next week I'm having a Hindu celebration, and it's going to be Bollywood music, and there's going to be Indian food and all that, and 100% of them will be like, oh my god, that's so sweet, oh my god, he's adding cultural diversity to our community, oh my god. That's fine, but if I say aluminium instead of aluminum, hey man, I don't know what kind of shithole you come from, but here in America you speak the language. It's a very awkward situation. I remember when I came here, I was really like sad. I was really kind of down in the dumps because I couldn't adjust that well, and I was depressed for a very long time until I went on the internet and I found my first ever sorority recruitment video. If you guys haven't seen this, sorority recruitment videos are like happiness in 4 minutes. It is like the entire emotion of happiness was just condensed into one video. And I found the video. It was on YouTube in the sports section. I don't know why it was in the sports section. I think one of the girls took a selfie next to like a kayaking boat, and the YouTube algorithm just went, oh, this is legit. She's obviously a hardcore athlete. Let's put her next to the Steph Curry highlight reel. Perfect fit. And I found her, and it was really weird because like it's so much existential joy. It's like 4 minutes of white girls, blonde girls dancing to Calvin Harris music. Like that's the entire video. And my first thought was, why do people still do drugs? Like this is irrelevant. Like we don't need drugs anymore. Just binge watch these on like a sweetheart sugar rush, and you're good for the next week. And my second thought was, this wasn't a text. So my second thought was, I'm pretty sure all the girls here are white. Like I don't think there's a single non-white girl in this entire video. I thought there was one non-white girl, but she was just standing in the shadow of a taller white girl. And I was like, okay, good, the house is pure. But I see a lot of people judging me. I see a lot of people judge me when I say that. And when I say like I watch these videos and they're just like, oh my god, you're such a pervert. I don't watch those videos for sexual reasons. I watch them for emotional ones. So fuck you. And yeah, it's so much like these videos are so happy that it was like a religious happiness for me. Like that to me is I get what religion is now. Like if you called Jesus, Buddha, and Muhammad back from the dead, and like and they started arguing over heaven, and you showed them that video, all three of them would be like, oh yeah, that's what we were talking about. That was what we meant the whole time. Listen guys, forget all the 2,000 years of fighting, just water on the bridge, it never happened. You want heaven, it's on YouTube in the sports section next to the Steph Curry highlight reel. I've been missing high school a lot more for some reason. I've been getting very nostalgic, and I'm not quite. I don't know why, because my high school was terrible. Like I went to high school in India, and I went to like the high school for rich kids. Rich kids by American standards. Indian rich kids is just if you can afford to go to high school. But I went to like this high school for rich kids, and it's awesome. It was awesome going there because I could be a shitty person. Because the bar for human decency was already so low. Like every kid at the rich kids high school is a complete asshole. Okay? Like you know how like generally at high schools it's based on you judge people based on grades and like extracurriculars and student involvement. I just showed up to my graduation. I was the only one sober at my graduation, and I just said I think poor people are human beings too, and they were just like making valedictorian, and that was it. And I remember when I was in high school, I used to make like a lot of just corny Facebook jokes about like my classmates, and I made this one joke about a girl who was really sweet. She didn't care. She laughed it off, but her boyfriend was like proper drunk, rich, spoiled brat, right? So I made the joke. I go to sleep. I wake up the next day, and it's 50 messages from her account, just abusing me, calling me an asshole, telling me that he's gonna come kill me. And his exact words were, fuck you, I'm gonna kill you, how dare you say that, you dirty pheasant. Now, I said drunk, so my first thought was, oh, he probably tried to call me a peasant because he's a spoiled asshole, but he misspelled it and it's pheasant. I scrolled down, he kept saying pheasant. It was like five messages of just pheasant. So then I stopped and I thought to myself, why would he misspell it 5 times in the exact same way? And I thought, what if he's the richest kid in the high school. What if he tried to call me a chicken, and he stopped himself and then said, wait, chicken is a poor man's bird. If I'm going to belittle him, I need to do so with a poultry that befits my standards. He's saying this while he's throwing up, and he's just like, fuck you, kill yourself, all misspelled. I'm going to come to your house, you dirty pheasant. Yes, now it's refined, send. And yeah, high school was weird for me. I like high school, but I wish I had come to America for high school, because I read an article last week that said that if you're in an Indian city and you breathe the air for 1 day, that's the equivalent of smoking 4 cigarettes. How badass would that have made me in an American high school? Like you have 6th graders bragging to each other about the first time they smoked. When did you smoke? Well, I smoked when I was 12. When did you smoke? Well, I did it when I was 10. I did it when I was 9. And I just walk in and be like, I did it when I was 20 hours old. So, how many cigarettes have you smoked? How many? 4? 3? I smoked 500,000. So, it works out that way. I traveled back home a lot. I remember I was at the Atlanta airport a couple of months back. And this one was weird. I saw this woman talking to her friend at a bookstore, and she was a white woman, like old white woman, and she said, I'm just scared of flying now. You know, you don't know what these radical Muslims are thinking. And that would have thrown me off on any day. But what made it extra weird was she was saying this while she was buying a book called, and this is true, The Evangelical's Guide to Spiritual Warfare. Which, if you're going to complain about religious extremism, I don't know if that's the book you want to be holding when you do it. Like, I'm just saying, you know, you wouldn't go to like a Black Lives Matter protest while holding Mein Kampf. You know, it's just not going to work out for you. You don't do it. It's a stupid thing. And the weird, you know, the best part about that was that book wasn't even like a war book. It was just like a self-help book that had that title. Which to me, more than what the woman said, is proof of like Islamophobia in America today. Because you know the publisher had two self-help books in front of him. One was by John Smith, and one was by Kabir Khan. The first one, Kabir Khan, how to confront obstacles with a smile on your face and go through life. And he would have been like, oh, I don't know, confront, it might scare some people. Let's hold off on that one. John Smith, how to spiritually bathe in the blood of your enemies. Oh, that's good, put that in the airport. That's great airplane reading. Anyways, I'm gonna bring up your first comedian now. Are you guys ready for a good night? Yeah! Okay, well, this guy is a professor. He's actually one of my old professors. He taught me a couple of chemical engineering classes. And it's good. I like doing this with him because it's fun to hear him talk about, you know, chemistry and his sex life. And don't worry, he doesn't do that in class. In class is just his sex life. So give it up for Pete Ludowitz.
Excellent student. He actually did technical research with me on personal lubricant, I believe. Yeah, that's it. And I can talk about that because a lot of you all have parents, and your parents obviously had sex at least once because that's where you came from. Unless you're adopted, then I don't really know. But your parents probably still have sex, and the only reason they still have sex is personal lubricants. It is the purview of chemical engineers. So Rahul and myself are both chemical engineers. Do we have any other chemical engineers in the audience? Right now. All right, sweet. That's cool, man. Because you know, you go to a party and you tell people you study chemical engineering, I guarantee you are going home alone, because that is not a conversation starter at parties. But believe it or not, personal lubricant are miracles of modern chemistry. They really are. Only one thing missing from personal lubricant. That, of course, would be flavor. God, you tell that joke to old people and they're like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Right? Because you people still use your genitals. You're young. I've been married 23 years. This is basically decorative at this point. You know, nobody worries about whether or not you have any physical shortcomings, right? I'm old. I just went through my second midlife crisis. Just this week I bought a motorcycle. And I didn't really buy a motorcycle. It has an automatic transmission, so that means it's a scooter. And I'm just waiting for the guy on the big 1500cc Harley to pull up next to me and say, Scooter, man, you could be a real man and buy a real motorcycle. I said, no, I just don't feel the need to compensate for a small dick. And it's not that I don't have a small dick, I just don't feel the need to compensate for that. But the only thing that keeps your parents going is personal lubricants, right? And I can't believe they didn't lift that flavor bit. Obviously, it's... Ladies, you're in for a good party time later in life when men realize they have another organ that actually works a hell of a lot better for that. Okay, so you're talking about England, right? I've been to England a number of times. I've taught classes over there. And not only do they pronounce things differently, they use different words, right? They call an apartment a flat. They call an elevator a lift, and they call disgusting organ meat baked into a pie food. I don't understand that one, but I can't really criticize them because I love some of the snacks they have over there. One of my favorite snacks when I visit England is a twiglet. Anyone know what a twiglet is? So a twiglet is a Marmite-coated pretzel. Okay, somebody groaned over there. You obviously know what Marmite is, right? You may have heard what Vegemite is. That's yeast extract. Marmite is heavy brown yeast extract. Good eating there. And that's really kind of gross, and it illustrates the difference between the United States and England, right? If you have heavy brown yeast extract over here, we call that a gynecological infection, and we give you some kind of ointment to put on for that, right? You've got Marmite over there, they put it on a pretzel, and they eat it. Good cultural differences there. That's good. So I've been teaching at Georgia Tech for, over 20 years now, and I'm not from the South. We got anyone that's natives of Georgia? Make some noise if you're a native. Yeah, that's good. You guys are weird. That's all I know. It's a different place over here, natives of Georgia. The gentleman, and you can back me up on this, ladies, not very romantic in the sack, right? So here is something you will never hear coming out of the mouth of a Georgia gentleman. Honey, do not fear, for you are not solely responsible for your own orgasm. I am an equal partner in this here act of intimacy. It's going to be more like, honey, do not fear. That stain on your boobs is just biscuits and sausage gravy. It'll come right out. And what really bugs me about the South is the cuisine, right? Their favorite cuisine down here, in case you haven't sampled it, is boiled peanuts. You got any fans of boiled peanuts? Yeah, me not so much. I don't like any food that looks the same going in as it does coming out. Trust me on this one. That's kind of weird there. Boiled peanuts are weird, and it's weird. And for those of you not familiar with boiled peanuts are, well, they're boiled peanuts. I don't really know how to spin that one. But what's weird about them is when you first encounter the roadside stand where they sell boiled peanuts, it's usually next to the guys selling velvet paintings of Elvis and dogs playing poker. They've got that southern accent, so they don't say boiled peanuts. They say bald peanuts. Pete, get over here, get yourself some bald peanuts. And I'm like, dude, I hope your peanuts are bald. Because if they got hair in them, they're not peanuts, and I don't want them anywhere near my mouth. Other weird thing is the schools. So if you went to school here in the state of Georgia, Georgia is an abstinence-only state. Are you really excited about that? No, I didn't think so. And I discovered it one day when my daughter came home from 8th grade health. Because 8th grade in the state of Georgia is when you learn all about the birds and the bees. And I asked her what I often ask her. I said, honey, what'd you learn in school today? She said, Daddy, I learned that condoms were ineffective and they're bad. I said, really? She said, is that true, Daddy? I said, no, honey, unless you're too drunk or stoned to put them on. Like 9 months before you were born. It does get confusing, though, doesn't it? Because they give you conflicting messages, right? They tell you before marriage, sex is bad. Then they tell you after marriage, sex is really good. You can have sex whenever and wherever you want. I've been married 23 years. That has not been my experience. And what's funny is she actually said, they had a lecture in the Cobb County schools, that's where my daughter went to school, that once you're married, you can have sex anywhere you want. In the family room, the living room, at the kitchen table. What? That actually came out of the mouth of a guest lecturer in Cobb County schools, right? Walton, no, it was Dodgen Middle School. Anyone go to Dodgen Middle School? They are messed up there. That's all I know. Right? That cannot be good, right? So she's telling me this at the kitchen table. So I look at her, I look at the table, I look at her, I look at the table, I'm like, not recently, it hurts Daddy's back. And then that very night, this is the depth of her confusion. That very night, we're sitting around the dinner table with my daughter, who was in 8th grade health, my son, who's about 6 years old, and she asked my wife, what is oral sex? And I couldn't believe that came out of her mouth. And then my wife goes to answer the question, and I couldn't believe my wife was going to answer that question in front of my daughter and my 6-year-old son, because frankly, I don't consider my wife much of an expert on that particular topic in the first place. Stick to what you know. That's one thing. Stick to what you know. So my wife answered. She basically said it's basically what it sounded like, which I think is a pretty good answer. And then my daughter continued. She said, well, why would anyone ever do that? And my wife answers, I kid you not, because somebody asked you to. And I'm like, whoa. Let's not bring Daddy into this argument. Because Daddy has never once asked Mommy to do that. Begged, pleaded, yes, but never actually asked. I don't know, it's kind of crazy. So I like to tell jokes in class. I usually teach at 8 o'clock in the morning. I actually often teach at 8 o'clock in numerical methods class. So my chemical engineers over here, have you ever had me for a class?
Yeah, GT1000.
Does GT1000 really count? Are you in my GT1000 class now?
No.
Okay, what was it, last year? Or?
Yeah, I did remember the presentation on the condoms?
Oh, I do remember that. Clearly, you learned something. But this is the whole funny thing, is I think learning can be fun. So was that a fun experience?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Were you excited about the technology of latex rubber and how they form it over a mold? Yeah. That's what's really cool, right? I'd like to model for that one. That would be good. all your condoms would be that big, but still, it'd be a satisfying job. So that actually is the problem, right? I think we purposely make learning boring, right? So, believe it or not, I actually have the world's only National Science Foundation grant that looks at humor in the engineering classroom. And it's not as though we're just sitting around telling jokes. Believe it or not, we actually have the statistical data to prove that if you sit around telling jokes, students at Georgia Tech, distracted. They're like, could you stop telling jokes because I need to get an A in this class, right? You don't really give a shit about learning the material. It's all about the grade, right? So what's really cool is you can do fun examples. So condoms, for example. I have 2 students doing research for me now. One of them is looking at the minor components of alcohol. And when I say alcohol, I don't mean reagent grade stuff that you buy from the lab supply store. I mean Smirnoff vodka. Believe it or not, there's 150 different compounds in there, most of which are toxic. Now you know why your hangover's so bad when you drink the cheap shit. And that's what we're trying to scientifically prove. The other guy's working for me on the CB1, CB2 cannabinoid receptors, right? So these are the cannabinoid receptors for the active psychotropic compounds in marijuana, as us old people like to say. The reason we're looking at that is I think that's a very legitimate pharmaceutical investigation. Because if you think about it, that most of your parents, actually, my generation, were all addicted to opioids, right? Somehow we thought drugs based on heroin should be good, right? We're all addicted to it, so it's really, really bad. And what we don't realize is that it's much better if you use cannabinoid-based drugs because they are not as likely to destroy your liver and kill you. That's exactly what an opioid does. And the reason we know that is because of a systematic multi-year study done by the National Institutes of Health. You may know it as Willie Nelson. And that is the motivation for our research there. I don't know. All right, so I'm getting the light here, so I'm going to end with a little Q&A. What's the one question you wanted to ask a Georgia Tech professor and get a real, accurate answer that you've never asked in class? Give me something. Something. It's got to be something. Do we make fun of you when you're out of class? Yes. You do the same to us, so it's all even that way.
Have you ever had sex in the classroom?
In my mind, often when I'm lecturing, yes. Because you think you're bored, we're just as bad, right? I mean, it's really hard. That's why I open with a joke, right? I end with a joke at 8 o'clock in the morning, try to get things rolling. What do my students like you do? They write it down. I'm not joking. There's always some guy in the front row who asks, is that going to be in a final exam? So I give them a little guidance, ladies and gentlemen. I tell them on the first day of class, if it has a punchline, probably not going to be in the final exam. If it's got a formula, probably will be on the final exam. But if it's got a lot of yelling, screaming, and swearing, could go either way. And that's my time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Pete Ludwig. Thank you very much. I'm going to enjoy the rest of the show.
Give it up for Pete one more time. Come on, Pete said he mentally imagines himself having sex in the classroom. Pete talks when he dreams. I don't know if you're aware of this. So now that we've had a professor, I should probably talk about studying a little bit. I realized pretty quickly what the formula is for success in college, and that is stay away from BuzzFeed. That's really it. Like, people say, oh, procrastination. Procrastination is like PC for BuzzFeed. Like, the thing about BuzzFeed is it like fucks with your head to a point where it'll make you interested in it when you know you're not supposed to be reading it, right? Like at that exact moment. Like, I'll be up at 4 a.m. the day before numerical methods midterm, and I'll just be staring at my computer going, okay, I have a final in 3 hours. Why am I on BuzzFeed looking at 19 different vaginal cleaning techniques? Like, this is not something I'm ever going to need. It's not something I'm ever going to need to know. Do I need to know this? No. Do I want to? Yes, but that's not the point. And then, I go to the final with, like, studying nothing because I was procrastinating. And then I just look at the paper half asleep and think, shit. This is not the fluid mechanics I was reading a while back. I'm really excited for football season. I'm excited for. I like the fall because of football season. Because I try to get into football every single time, but I can't because I can't get into American sports generally because I grew up in India, and in India the big sports rivalry was always India-Pakistan cricket, which has messed me up because now I can't get emotionally invested in a game that doesn't have nuclear weapons. Like I can't get involved. Like stakes are not high enough. And like, this is, like, and like that's the problem because like, it messes with a lot of industry. It messes with gambling because like over here you gamble millions of dollars on each team, and like, what are you gonna gamble there when the fate of civilization is already on the table? Like what? How can you beat that? You know how during the Super Bowl during the halftime of the Super Bowl you have like Katy Perry and Beyonce? We just have Oppenheimer's speeches on loop. Like that's how it happens. And it was weird because like you come from there to the US, and you have these high expectations for sports, and then American commentators hype the shit out of everything, and you just get terrified. Like you hear people at NBA games going, "Oh, this is going to be an epic finale. This is going to be the greatest game. This is going to be the game to remember. It's going to be a game for generations." And I'm sitting there thinking, one team better have a Death Star, otherwise, this is false advertising. I remember one time a commentator said the game was going to be explosive, and purely out of instinct, I shot myself. Alright, and with that, I'm going to bring up your second comedian. She is one of the 2 women at Geekapalooza. Our female population has doubled over the year. Now I know how the Georgia Tech admissions office feels. But give it up. She's a second-year biomedical engineering major. Give it up for Tess Green.
Not biomedical.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, I'm BME, sophomore. I want you to read on the audience. Are there any mechanical engineers here? There's always those fuckers. There's the biggest major. But I like it, mechanical engineering major. It's a huge major, but it's a good major. It's full of wonderful people. They're a lot like Hufflepuffs. They accept everyone. Any environmental engineering majors? No? Okay, that's good. Oh, oops, never mind. They're good people. They're Gryffindors, trying to save us all from ourselves. And the chemical and petroleum engineers. Slytherins, I believe I'm right, bent on our destruction. If the civil engineers don't get us first. But I guess that leaves Ravenclaw the smartest, which must be the biomedical engineers. So I'm just putting it out there. If you're considering switching to the best major ever, I've got some advice as a very experienced sophomore. They tell you a lot about the different pre-tracks as a BME. There's the pre-health track, the pre-law track, and a bunch of pre-tracks. And I'm here to say, they're all bullshit. Because if you're a BME, there's 2 tracks. Yeah, there's 2 tracks for biomedical engineering majors. The first is becoming a business major. And the second is following in the footsteps of our patron saint, Victor Frankenstein. Think of all the good work we BMEs have done. Frankenstein, RoboCop, Resident Evil, Jurassic Park, Splice, The Fly, Ex Machina, the Human Centipede. So if you've got a BME friend who really likes Pokemon, don't ask them to pet sit. And if you've got a BME friend who really likes Picasso, don't be left alone with that friend. However, we are the masterminds behind Bad Dragon, so not all heroes wear capes. Y'all don't know what that is, but relationships, fuckers. Anyway, I've also got some tips for ladies. Any freshman girls here? Oh, okay, so I've got some advice for you because despite being at a 60% male university, it can be difficult to find a guy you want to spend time with. So if you're a girl at Georgia Tech and you're struggling to meet cool guys, don't worry, it's not that hard. All you gotta do is get on I-20, take exit 55B, and Morehouse is just a mile down the road. No, but I mean, look, I don't care how cool you think you are. You are at Georgia Tech. You can't do that. Because being cool at Georgia Tech is like getting an Olympic medal at underwater basket weaving. It's really cool for you, man, but no one in the real world's gonna give a fuck. Because, like, I don't care if you're the president of Alpha Beta Gonorrhea. We all know how much Magic the Gathering you played in high school. It's not gonna fly. And you might be like, oh, Tess, what about the captain of the football team? He's gotta be cool. No. He got his ass beat by the UTC quarterback in high school for his lunch money, and y'all know it. And girls, got some bad news, because no amount of hair flipping is gonna erase that X-Men fan fiction, so don't get cocky. But, I think coolness is something we've all struggled with. I mean, middle school is the worst, I think, across the board. You're worrying about puberty, you're worrying about grades, you're worrying about hoping to have sex someday. I remember, because I was pretty short and stocky. Don't say anything, that's not the punchline. But I had a plan back in the day. I had this plan because all the women in my dad's family are really, really tall. And I thought, that's great. After puberty, I'll get super tall, and all the tall girls are hot, and I'll have long legs, and guys like legs, and everything will be great. And if you're wondering how plan A went, in middle school, I was this tall. So, maybe in short and stocky was the punchline. But it's okay, because I had plan B. Because all the women in my mom's family, while being on par with leprechauns, also had, how do I say this, very large breasts. Stacked racks. No itty bitty titties. Just back problems. And I thought little high school me was like, that's even better. I'll have amazing boobs and be curvy and they'll catch popcorn and I'll get free drinks. Everything will be great. Well, I don't mean to diss my fellow B-cups, but I was kind of hoping for fluffier sweater puppies, okay? And I know there's about 37 she wants the D jokes in there, but none of them reflect well on me, so I'm not gonna say them. But anyway, I think my boobs realized I didn't appreciate them and may have gotten a little disgruntled. Because here, okay, so first semester here, I was in the health class, and they were going over cancer stuff, and the girls get the usual message of, make sure you check yourselves. And the guys me there go like, you need help, we can help with that. And the prof was like, you better check yourselves before you wreck yourselves. But we're all laughing, we're having a good time because we're checking ourselves and we're adult women, we can do this, no one can stop us, and that's when I felt the lump. Spoiler alert, I'm fucking fine, so y'all can laugh at this. But though, if you don't have a family history and you're wondering how scary it is to feel a titty lump, the determiner is pants shittingly. Because apparently my boobs decided to take some fucking revenge. And I can only imagine the conversation went something like, this bitch doesn't appreciate us? Let's fuck her up. Wait sis. I'm upset too, but I want to live long enough to be touched by another human being. So, hey, maybe she'll meet a guy who really likes B-cups and everything will be great. Side note to fellow B-cups, that's not gonna happen. And I was like, fine. I'm scared shit out of her. So, fast forward a week, I'm shitting my pants in the doctor's office, and the lady doctor goes, nah, you're good. Sometimes the boobs just do what they want, you're fine, everything's great. So, moral of the story is, love your bodies and calm your tits. Have a good night.
Test green, everybody, test green. Tess was talking about like how she got the genetic short end from her parents. I know the feeling. My dad, I don't know if you know, my dad actually used to be the high school athlete because he was captain of the cricket team. And if you guys haven't played cricket, that's a big deal because it's basically baseball without all that annoying movement. And my mom used to be like the class babe, as I'm told all the time by her. And like I remember they got married pretty young at 21, young by American standards, but it was like, what did be so long? And then they had me at 23, which was like, it's weird because everyone was really anticipating me because like it was the class athlete and the class babe combining their genes to like make a super baby, and I don't know what like this is the reaction all my relatives had to. And it's not that I mind being this skinny, it's got its advantages, but it's weird when I look through my phones and I see the numbers of like 50 supermodels, and I know none of them want to sleep with me, they just want to know how I got like this. I mean, you know, I grew up in India, beggars were throwing food at me, and like you put me through a spaghetti machine, I'd come out unchanged. If anything, I'd gain weight. I was talking about speaking of India. Your next comedian, he's also a fellow brown man, and he's I think he joined a year ago, and he's been with us ever since, and he's really funny. So give it up for Skanda Prasad, everybody. Skanda Prasad.
Look at him setting the expectation back there.
And you're an electrical engineer?
Oh, and I'm supposed to be an electrical engineer. Look at him setting all the expectations by calling me funny. Spoiler alert, I'm not. But we are at tech, so when you have a test, you do what you do best. You get a cheat sheet. Right? Where's my Donald Trump supporters at? There's that one guy. Are you still a supporter after day before yesterday?
No.
Why?
He did that.
Come on, man. Don't you want to have at least one president who's openly on coke? Seriously. Like none of the Bill Clinton bullshit. At least Obama was openly on weed when he was young. So yeah, that's cool. Now we should graduate a little bit. We need to kind of go through the machine, right? Yeah, man. Look, Donald Trump supporters, apart from you, are kind of like the great Bengal tiger. You'll always see them, but only on TV. You look for them in real life, you'll never find them. I went looking for Donald Trump supporters everywhere, I couldn't find them, but yet, apparently we're in the deep red state, I couldn't find one of them. 47% voted for him. And I'm looking, where are these guys? Well, there were a bunch of guys who were in front of the mosque on 14th Street, but even they were supporting Marco Rubio for some reason. But I did find my first Donald Trump supporter. And of all the places, I found him at Rocky Mountain Pizza. That was cool. I was just happily, a bunch of us brown boys, standing outside, smoking a cigarette, just being ourselves, not doing anything stupid. Drunk guy comes out and starts talking to us about his daughter who has MS. So you kind of go, oh yeah, that's nice. Well, no, it's not nice, but like, you know, well, glad she's okay, glad she's talking to school, etc. And out of nowhere, right, I don't know how he got from my daughter having MS to suddenly saying, I think Trump is the best thing for this country, right? There's that gap which kind of got bridged. You know how you sit in a lecture and you start seeing and the professor's talking 2 + 2 = 4 and you go, yeah, I get this, and then you kind of buzz off for a minute, and then when you look up, he's actually proved Fermat's last theorem. That's kind of what happened, right? And in the middle of all that, he looks at us and he goes, yeah, that's why you Sandleavers should be happy. I'm going, whoa, that's not cool, man. But we didn't say that, but you're like, you're sure you're using the right word? That's not the right racial epithet, you know that, right? We are Indians. He's like, who cares? So this is the point at which I'm wondering, dude, we're Indians, we need to have our own set of racial epithets. Believe it or not, there's actually a website that does that. It's called the Racial Slur Database. Right? Yeah, I'm going to read this out, right? It goes ABCD, which which is what Indians call other Indians anyway. But technically, that's what Indians from India call Indians from here. But yeah, there's Apna, Apu, Babar, Babu, Bindu, Birenti, Binder, Bindi, Bitti. I must just give you a warning, like none of these are particularly funny or even racially offensive to us. So you guys, white guys, you need to kind of up your game a little bit. I mean, I can think of funnier epithets to use, like, I mean, I don't know, curry eater. Cow kisser is one funny one. Have you ever tried kissing a cow? You get a lot of tongue. Just one. But yeah, so if you're going to kind of use racial slurs, just get the right ones. White people, you guys, like, get ready for that. So if you're ever using it, just like, use one that's particularly funny and offensive to me. But yeah, oh, and I'm looking forward to this election. This is going to be fun. Imagine Trump as prime president. Yeah, that's the punchline right there. I don't have to go beyond that. Oh. So being at Georgia Tech, right, I'm one of those rare members of the species you call PhD students. The ones you never see but hear about, kind of like Donald Trump supporters. But one thing that professors and PhD students share in common is our shared contempt for undergrads. Like, think about it. So you deal with undergrads on a daily basis, and I'm sorry guys, but like, this is just us being old. It's not you guys being stupid alone, right? Like, I mean, you guys are stupid. It's just we were stupid at that point, and then when we look at you, you remind us of ourselves at that point, and we hate the fact that we were like that before, and possibly still are. But yeah, so, I mean, one of the craziest things is when you're in the locker room at the CRC, and there's two fat naked professors sitting there, and their tits hanging out, like little 1 inchers. And they're sitting and talking about how the students in their class couldn't add 2 plus 2 equal to 4. And I go, well, obviously, you were trying to prove Fermat's last theorem. You never let them understand why 2 plus 2 equal to 4. But this actually happened, right? Apparently, and there was a senior level maths course in which the professor for the first quiz asked them to add 1 plus 2 plus 3 all the way up to 100. And apparently there were more than a few kids who took out their calculators and tried to do that manually. Yeah. Of course, then there was, but sometimes you can see why, like, you start wondering how people can be so stupid at this place. I mean, just the other day, Pete and I were in the same bathroom cubicle together. We are not together at the same time. Like, I went first, opened the bathroom cubicle, and then I was struck by the sight of, you know, what you see in a bathroom cubicle, then you start wondering what the hell just happened to the universe. I won't go into the gory details, but let's just say that I opened it and hoped to see, like, do my business. And then I was just standing there dumbstruck at the idea that there can be somebody who actually got into Georgia Tech, knows Calc 2, went through all of that, possibly even a PhD student, and yet cannot for the life of him figure out the simple function of toilet paper. So yeah, I got out, I was like easing back, and then I suddenly see a bald head walk past me, and the same dumbstruck face right after that, and then I look at Pete and we just share the same look and we go, yeah, undergrads. What do you say? No, but so okay. Just to clarify, right? This is not me hating on undergrads. This is just me being a grad student. You see, being a grad student is kind of like being the Grinch who stole Christmas. You live up there all alone in a lonely cave which you call your lab, with a trusty computer you call Max, whose performance is anything but. You look down at Whoville, where all the happy people are when they're having parties and all of that stuff, and you wonder, what the fuck did these guys do to be so happy? You're a tech. You can't do that. And you wonder, like, I mean, okay, if they're freshmen, you understand, right? They're still happy, they just haven't understood the world. But when they're juniors and seniors, no, you're supposed to be in the middle of Stockholm Syndrome at that point. How the hell can you be so happy? Right? You're sitting there, your heart is kind of 2 sizes too small, but that's mostly because of the cigarettes and the ramen noodles and the excess coffee. And your kind of lack of sunlight is playing havoc on your melatonin levels. I mean, look, when I got here, I was as black as 5-year-old Michael Jackson. Now I'm this. But next year, I'm going to be like Michael Jackson, when he died. But yeah, thank you. At least that's some reaction. But yeah, so all of this hate and anger kind of boils over at Wet Friday. So that's like the grad student version of the Grinch's Christmas. At which point you wonder, okay, I need to start messing with these kids' heads and take away their love for life from them. Which is, by the way, explains a lot of why your graduate TAs behave the way they do. It also explains a lot of why your professors behave the way they do. The way I do it is to do stand-up comedy. And I did that with the freshmen, and they thought, oh my god, we're going to hear some nice jokes about Georgia Tech. No, for 10 minutes I was actually telling them how Georgia Tech really is. Yeah, I heard groans, and I could see their eyes go from to whoa, I just made a big mistake. Some of them actually came back to me after the show and asked, is Georgia Tech really that bad? And I go, you know what, don't worry. Georgia Tech is like BDSM. It hurts like fucking hell, but you learn to love it. Yeah, you will. Don't worry about that. But one thing you need to get over at Georgia Tech is the fact that you're not going to have a sex life. Look, my sexual orientation when I got here was trisexual. You know, I was trying to be sexual. After a year, I figured, no, that's not happening. Like, after 2 years, I've turned bisexual, which means I've just said bye to being sexual. Which makes sense, given that this is an abstinence-only education state. So, like, I'm not going to use that anyway. That's like a vestigial organ over here. In fact, by Georgia Tech standards, your appendix is going to be a better use for you than your dick. Simply because at least it has the possibility of bursting and giving you a couple of days off from the work. Yeah, see? Laying out the truths for you guys, laying out the truths. Not that you didn't know them already, but as a grad student. But that's one of the problems, right? Of course, our brains are stupid. You still think, well, I can do something about this. So I did what everybody does. I got on Tinder. Start swiping. Ooh, nice. Start swiping. Oh, I'm doing it wrong way, right? Right. This is right. Right swiping. No matches. And I tried, kept going. No matches. And then finally I hit it. I got the end of it. Believe it or not. Tinder didn't stop giving me likes. Tinder ran out of girls that I could swipe on. And I'm thinking, how the hell is this possible? This is Atlanta, there are like 5 million people. There should be at least like 1 million girls in the age group of 20 to 55. By the way, you will be surprised at the number of really young girls who say that their age is 80. Trust me, try it guys. You will. So I thought, and I'm going, look Tinder, how can you do this? And they're like, yeah, you did really swipe through all of them. But you know what, I kept trying. And finally I got one match. I got one match and I'm going, whoa, this is so cool. Of course, and immediately I got a message. I'm thinking, oh, this is brilliant. Well, it turns out it was a link asking me for my credit card number. It didn't lead me anywhere, even though I gave the credit card number. So never met, can't help it. But you know what, I still kept trying. Finally, I met one girl. Can I get a minute more?
Yeah, sure.
Good. Yeah, it's not like we're going anywhere anyway. Got a swipe, I got a match, and then I started chatting with the girl. She was really nice, she was friendly, and she was actually talking to me, which is really cool, which is something that I've never had before. And then I asked her out on a date, and she said yes. And I'm going, yes, I've done it. I have finally found some use for this little thing down there. Okay, I might have exaggerated a little bit. And then I kind of messaged her the next day going, you know what, what's up? This is exactly the reply they got. I'm not joking on this, by the way. Hi Skanda, after I messaged you, I realized that I need to take a break from this app and from meeting people. Thanks, bye. It took me a minute, but it hit me, right? You know what they say about drug addicts, right? They will never get help till they hit rock bottom. So that's what has happened to this girl. I was her rock bottom. She said, I asked, you want to go on a date? Yes, I will. And then at that moment when she pressed send, she realized she had made a big mistake. Oh my god. She would have probably gone to her mom and her friends and gone, oh no, I said yes to a brown dude for a date. What have I done? Look, Melissa, we were okay with you bringing home that drug dealing boyfriend of yours. That's fine. We were even okay with that deadbeat guy who kind of tried to steal all our stuff. That's fine. But a brown guy at Georgia Tech, an engineer. What's wrong with you? No, you need help. You need to get away from this. We'll send you to relationship rehab right now. Go. But yeah, I'm still going to try though. Thanks so much guys. That's my time.
Skanda Prasad, ladies and gentlemen. Skanda Prasad. So we have about I think 2 comics left after this, and I just wanted to thank you guys for all coming out here. I know it's probably really far, and I wanted to thank you guys so much for supporting us. So give yourselves a round of applause. How about that? Huh? I actually came from U House. Anyone who here is from U House? Okay, 1 person from U House. I'm sure most of you people have like visited U House at some point, and I love staying at U House. And my favorite part of U House, this is something you're never gonna hear. I love the elevators of U House, because here's the thing: the elevators at U House are numbered really weirdly. Like they have a star on the first floor, but it's not actually the exit. The exit is the lobby, and people get mixed up a lot. And it's my favorite thing to mess with these people, okay? Because like, you get into an elevator, you see them come in, they press 1 instead of L, and it starts going down, and they realize they made a mistake. And when they realize they made a mistake, which they will, you just kind of look at them the whole time, and somewhere about the 5th floor, you just kind of give them a stare and go, I have a heart surgery to get to. And like, the thing is, when you get to the 1st floor, they will just start mashing the close button. Even though they know you're talking shit, they'll just start pressing it insanely hard. I don't know why. And then as you're going down to the correct floor, you just turn to them one more time and you say, I could have saved her. And then you hit the correct floor, and you walk out, turn around, do it slowly, and just go, we could have saved her. And you walk away. That isn't even the best part. The best part is seeing them a week later, just looking down and going, it's okay. And on that depressing note, I'm gonna bring out the final Geekapalooza comedian. He is also a professor. He's a math professor actually. He is one of the funniest guys I've ever seen on stage. So please give it up for Lou Lefton, everybody. Lou Lefton.
Guys you've ever seen on stage, really, you should get out more, Ron. That's pretty sad. A math professor is your comic hero, huh? That's a big sad right there. That's a really unhappy thing. Welcome to Under the Couch. Good guys are all here. Anybody go to the blood drive? There was a blood drive on campus recently. Did anybody go to that?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you give or did you get deferred? You gave? Good for you. Saved a life. I went and gave blood. It's the most depressing thing. It's really a depressing thing for me as an older guy. I just had a birthday. I'm in my mid-50s. And by the way, if you guys are lucky enough to live to your 50s, and I'm sure all of you will, because what's the life expectancy of a 20-year-old at Georgia Tech? It's 20, right, or something. No, I'm kidding. We're gonna stop suicide together. We're gonna make a pact. We're gonna end it with this pact together. Is that the worst fucking slogan? Anyway, I'm sorry. Together. We're gonna do this. I mean, suicide's a horrible thing, and I'm glad that it's being openly discussed on campus, because it's a very serious problem, but I think we need a little marketing major on that team. Anyway, giving blood, yeah, it was really sad for me, because as a middle-aged guy, you know, you have to fill out, if you give blood, you have a bunch of questions you have to answer. And the questions in my world are basically convincing me that I have no reason left to live, so you might as well drain all of the life force out of me. It's like, have you ever had a tattoo in the last 12 months? No. Have you ever had a body piercing in the last 6 weeks? No. Have you ever had sex with a man even once? No. Have you ever traveled outside the country? No. Do you have a life? No. Do you eat pussy? No. Okay, take my blood. Just go. I have nothing. It's gone. What'd you do Thursday night? I saw a math professor talking about pussy eating. It was cool. Georgia Tech, that's how we entertain ourselves. I have kids. I have 3 kids. 3 kids. I don't enter the math joke realm because you guys are my people, actually. 3 kids. I have an older daughter, and then I have twins. 3. And we had to stop, by the way. My wife is also a mathematician. We had to stop after we had singleton, then we had twins, because we didn't know whether it was an arithmetic or a geometric progression. Either way, that third pregnancy was off the table. My sister, she and my brother-in-law have been trying to have a kid for 3.5 years. Can you believe that? They were trying to have a kid for 3.5. I mean, I can't even maintain an erection for more than a week. And they're like, we're trying to have a kid. And it's really embarrassing in the grocery store. It's frozen food, honey. We better speed up on this aisle. God, you guys, adopt. Anyone here adopted? No? Well, that's all right. Parents still love you. I think adopted children get more love than naturally born children. It's so intentional. What else? Yeah, I gave blood. It was fine. It was good. Saved a life. And yeah, so I teach math. I'm a math professor, which means I was, like Skanda at one point, a very depressed graduate student. I was a math TA when I was a graduate student. I had an advantage as a math TA because I spoke English. And now, don't hurt on my people. Math is a very international subject. We transcend normal verbal language. We do math. That's what we do. So I understand it's a very international subject, and there's a lot of non-native English speakers in my field, and so that just means that I had to go through that too. You just learn the mathematics. Sometimes the person isn't the most clear speaker of English. That's your fault for being an English speaker. You should pay attention to the math. Because I had to learn statistics from an Indian woman who couldn't say square. That's kind of a handicap in that class. X scared is what she'd say. X scared plus Y scared is Z scared, which follows a chi scared with a T scared, and it's like after a lecture from Red Hat, a notebook full of frightened variable. But when you become a mathematician, you get all the questions. All the people want to know, what's that good for? What do you use math? What's advanced abstract math? It's like I use math all the time. I use complex numbers, imaginary numbers. I use them to balance my checkbook. Now it's perfect because you've got the real part. That's what the bank thinks you have, and you got the imaginary part, completely independent, and that's what you can spend. What else? You guys like the math jokes, huh? I should do more math jokes. They really are my people. What else? Part of the Geekapalooza, the geeky comedy folks. We've done a lot of stuff. We do Under the Couch here. We did a Dragon Con a few weeks ago. We've done Sweetwater 420 Festival. You guys ever been out to that? It's a lot of fun. It's a 420, and it's the marijuana culture. And they have all this stuff going on there. There's all this. Of course, there's lots of people smoking pot and drinking beer, and there's music, and there's all these craft booths. There was one really cool craft booth this woman had made everything from hemp. I mean, there was like hats and clothing, and there was like wallets and accessories, and even the price tags were made out of these little hemp. So I took a picture, it's like hashtag, that's pretty cool. That was a groaner, huh? That killed the Dragon Con. But then again, they were furries, so. They laugh at anything. What else? We have, Rahul, how much time do we have?
4 minutes.
4 minutes, all right. Well, I can do some other stuff. Let's see, so you guys are Georgia Tech, you guys like science. I was kind of an engineering kid when I was growing up. I used to be kind of I would take apart stuff, try to figure out how it worked. I remember taking apart my calculator. I attached a little speaker to it, a little code on there, so that when you press the factorial button, it finally did what I always think every factorial button on every calculator in the world should do. You would hit 17, and then you hit the factorial button, and the calculator said, 17! I'm mean at this time. I used to go exploring. I go to find stuff in my mom and dad's bedroom. That's when you're a kid. That's the best place to go exploring. That's where all the forbidden shit is, right? I remember seeing my mom, looking in the nightstand and finding my mom's, she had one of those rolling pins, those battery-operated rolling pins. You ever seen those? With all the attachments and like the fluted edges for pie crusts and stuff. I don't know what they were. So I put them in the kitchen drawer where they belong. My mom's having book club and, oh, hey, where's the wine cork? Where's the corkscrew's over there? That drawer. She goes and gets it out. wow, what's this going to do? Lou, you're grounded, right? 'Cause that's how your parents punish you. You're grounded. It's like, okay. No free electrons on me. Won't carry a charge for a month, Mom. I'm grounded. Stick a green wire up my butt. Really? That's applause? I love you. Let's get married. Let's run away. Let's leave all of this Georgia Tech behind. Just a math professor and his weird cultish crowd. Yeah. My dad I was a smartass as a kid too. My dad would say stuff like, well, I didn't hear that crap. I'd say, gee, Dad, only this much more and you're full of crap. You're grounded. Okay, no free electron. What else? We have a good crowd. You guys getting ready for fall break? Anybody traveling? Yeah? Where are you going? Oh, somebody say yes, no? Anyone been to New Orleans? You guys ever go to New Orleans? Yeah. All my kids were born in New Orleans. I used to be in New Orleans, lived there for many years. And Mardi Gras, of course, that's the big time when everybody goes to New Orleans. Yeah, big go to Mardi Gras, right? Mardi Gras is like this big college fraternity party, right? It's a big drunken brawl. It's like, show your tits! You know, and all these people are walking in the streets and there's beads and it's crazy. But that's not what it's like if you live in New Orleans. If you live there, it's a family event. Mardi Gras, you don't go down to the French Quarter and there's all the nudity and all the drinking. I mean, there's a lot of drinking, but there's, it's New Orleans, part of the thing. But you go out to the suburbs and they have parades and they throw candy and the kids get up on ladders and it's a huge, big family event. I mean, people are out there having picnics and, you know, they're shouting stuff, show your tits, and grandma's there. Like, yeah. Sagging boob joke. Maybe that was funny when Tess talks about breasts, but not me. Kind of entitlement, you guys. Yeah, so I'm going to close out. You guys, we have an open micer after me. Is that right, Rahul?
Yep.
Yeah. Did Ollie show up?
Nope.
All right. So I'm going to do a couple quick impressions, a couple more math jokes for you. First is my impression of I don't know if this is going to work with this crowd. My impression of Robert Kennedy in geometry class. Is this going to work? We'll find out. We'll see exactly. So you got to imagine. I'm in front of the whiteboard here, and I've drawn up the Cartesian plane here. I've got a y-axis. Whoa, this is moving. Anyone else recently come from Colorado? It's a higher intelligence in Colorado. So I'm up the XY plane here. You've got that. You're crossing the axes, and here's my impression: Robert Kennedy in geometry class. Some people look at this axis and they say, why? I distinguish a specific point on the axis and I say, why not? $55-year-old guy. I'm 56 actually now. I had a birthday recently. And I'm actually, it's weird when you get older, by the way, that you get stuff that would have been funny when you're like a 20-year-old like you guys. I've crossed the line, so I've gone from funny to creepy. Everything's creepy when you're an old man. It's like, oh, you're wearing a shirt that says free mustache rides. You're 20 years old, you're in a bar. That's funny. You're 56 years old. That's fucking creepy. Get the fuck out of the bar, guy. Everything is so here's my other impression. This is my impression of a cheerleader in 8 dimensions. Let's see if you guys paid attention in 1522. That's still hot. By the way, I don't know the course number. This is my linear algebra joke. I'm going to close with this. Ready? Okay, it's a cheerleader in 8 dimensions. Okay, we'll put you to the test. We're better than the rest. We're gonna be the best. Never gonna. My arms are still moving. They're just orthogonal to your 3 right now. Thank you.
Now you know why he's my hero. Lou Lefton, everybody. We have one more last open mic entry, and we're gonna close off after that. I guess I'll just do a quick final joke that I've been wanting to try out. I watch a lot of cooking shows nowadays because I want to learn how to like cook. because I'm living independent and I want to like learn my way around the house. And I remember, I don't know if you watch like old cooking shows, but there's always 3 people on the show. There's the host who introduces the people, there's the guest chef who's cooking a meal, and there's like a health doctor who talks about like nutritional benefits and stuff. And I love these cooking shows only because of that health doctor, okay? Because the thing is, the health doctor has to give health advice, but he can't be mean to the guest chef, even if the guest chef is like emptying 50 pounds of butter into the pan. Because he's the guest chef, you have to be nice. He has to look at that butter up till here and be like, well, butter contains saturated fats, which are healthy in moderation. And now after watching that, I want to be a chef. Not because I like cooking, I just really want to fuck with a health doctor. Like, I want to work my way up, work in some Michelin-starred restaurants, go get on a cooking show, introduce myself, you know, maybe talk about his family, throw some extra virgin olive oil, some salt, not too much, don't want to add too much sodium, add some kale. And then while I'm talking to him, just pull out a dead rat, dump it on the pan, stare at him and go, justify me now. My parents hate me for dropping out of med school, you're gonna feel my pain. Anyways, so we have one last comic for you. I haven't really seen him yet, but I'm sure he's really, really funny. His name is Chase Moon. Give it up for Chase Moon, everybody.
So last month I bought a box of condoms. I bought a box of 50 condoms, and just this a few days ago, I realized that I needed to go to the store and get more, which is, you know, in this kind of situation, it's like, wow, I've really outdone myself. It's like, who loses a brand new box of condoms? I carved the word gullible on my ceiling so that my house guests know that I don't fuck around. Alright guys, seriously, you know what really grinds my gears? Lack of adequate lubrication. So I was, does anybody out here believe in karma? Yeah. Yes. Anybody? Well, let me tell you a story. I was walking along, and I see a girl on crutches, and she had dropped her bag. She dropped her bag on the ground. She was really struggling to pick it up, right? And you know, her knees were shaking, and she was trying to pick up the bag. She was really, I mean, she looked completely helpless. So, you know, I went up to her and I did what anyone would do. I stole a bag. And then, the next day, I made the best pancakes ever. Why do they call the services performed by prostitutes tricks? Are you familiar with this? I call them tricks. And I guess that just doesn't really make so much sense to me. I don't really see where the trick is. Like I don't think anyone's ever hired a prostitute and then afterwards been like, how the fuck did she do that? Her hands move so fast. And then there's that one annoying guy in the audience, you know, he's like, I've seen this one before, I know how she does it. I can show you later. And then his son is like, Dad, gross. You can't just talk to people like that. You do this every show. Mom, he does this every show. But when I was like 5 or 6 years old, some of my fondest memories, this is a new joke, this isn't about prostitution. When I was like 5 or 6 years old, some of my fondest memories were going to the zoo. I really love to go to the zoo with my family. And I remember one time, I was at the zoo, my dad was carrying me on his shoulders. And I remember as he was carrying me through the zoo, I pointed up at the monkeys, and I was like, 1 monkey, 2 monkey, 3 monkey. When my dad heard this, he freaked out. He freaked out and he threw me off the shoulders. And when I hit the ground, it was like my dad came out of a trance. He came up to me, he apologized to me profusely. He said, "Son, I'm so sorry, I don't know what came over me." He bought me a lemonade. We had a great rest of the day at the zoo. And I guess what I'm trying to say with this story is that, my dad was a good father and a good man, but you just couldn't count on him, you know? So I was walking along the road one time, and I came across a fortune cookie, right? And this is a true story, mostly, and I picked up the fortune cookie, and the message inside, it said, "You have a 200% chance of licking a butthole in your life." And so I had to go to my smart friend to kind of figure out what this meant. And my friend, he has an interesting way of putting spins on things, and this is the way that he put it. He said, "Imagine someone who is certain to lick a butthole in their lifetime. You are twice as likely as that guy is to lick a butthole." And so, so later that week, I was giving a guy a rim job in the parking lot of Ingles, and listen, I know this story's getting hard to believe, but you don't understand. Like I was intertwined in a whole lot of different deals. Things were happening, things were moving back and forth. And to make a long story short, there were sky miles at risk here. So just bets off, bets off. And so anyway, during the whole process, I got my bag stolen. So. My name is Chase Moon. Thanks for listening. Have a good night.
I think that's a pretty good note to end the show on. Chase Moon, everybody. So, we are the Geekapalooza Comedy Tour. This was our fall Under the Cup show. I'm not sure if we'll have another one. I hope we do. But check us out. We're at DragonCon. We're at Sweetwater 420. We're on campus all over the place. Thank you guys so much for coming out. And give it up for your comedians one more time. And give it up for yourselves. Thank you guys so much. My name is Rahul. Have a wonderful night.